positions on both sides of the National Water Resource Bill debate seems to be hardening. While the sponsors and the promoters of the bill in the National Assembly continue to talk about its inherent benefits, and opposition to it has been mounting, especially among the ethnic nationality and groups and associations in the southern part of the country. The latest to weigh in on this debate is the United Niger Delta Energy Development Security Strategy, whose Secretary General, Antonio Uranta, now joins us from here in Lagos to talk about why he and his group are so single-minded in their opposition to the bill. It's a pleasure to have you, Antonio Uranta. What is your grouse with this bill? Why don't you like it?
First of all, thank you for having me. Secondly, what is there to like about it? And thirdly, remember that this bill was resoundingly rejected in the last National Assembly. In fact, it was the now Niger Delta Minister, Godswill Akpabio, as the then minority leader, who led the whole process of rejecting this noxious, obscene, and very anti-people bill by whoever conceived of it. It is anti-federalism. It is anti-Niger Delta. It is, in fact, anti all the sections of the country, but very pro the Fulani herdsmen that our government has now very conveniently opened the borders to and declared that they are all Nigerians. I mean, we can take it for so much, for so long. We just can't keep taking this nonsense for as long as they throw it at us. Enough is enough.
Well, Tony Uranta, it's good to see you, but I hope you are aware that the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and the Minister of Water Resources have both addressed this matter, and they've said there is no going back, that the government, the federal government, will go ahead with this bill. Just a moment. And Alhaji Lai Mohammed made the point that this bill, as proposed, is an amalgamation of existing pieces of legislation from 2004, and that there's nothing new about it. And those who are criticizing the bill, to quote him, are speaking out of ignorance or playing politics.
Well, I'll allow myself to wallow in ignorant politics if it will so satisfy Lai. But the fact is this: we know that in the National Assembly, some sections of the country have a majority through the wrong population censuses that have emerged over time. But whether they pass the bill or not, we can say this categorically: we will resist it with all our might, with all our resources, in every way possible. We just finished a meeting with our creeks. Our creeks are those people still inside the morass that is the Niger Delta. And they have said to us resoundingly, say no to this. Remember that in 2016, Abba Kyari, the late Abba Kyari, invited me to Abuja, and I met with the chiefs of the security chiefs and intelligence chiefs. I followed that meeting by taking a bigger team: Chief Alaibe, Honorable Farada Gogo, Honorable Joshua McIver, Honorable Jefta, Dr. Ikwang, and others at Shooter's site, and we met with the government. In fact, met with the president, and he assured us that if we would let the creeks go through a unilateral ceasefire, they would do certain things to us. We got the ceasefire. Not one thing was done. We created PANDEF, and then we got PANDEF leaders led by Chief Kiagodo Clark had a meeting with the president. And in that meeting, we submitted a 16-point position stating how best this country can move forward with the Niger Delta in tow. The president promised action was going to take place. Shortly after, he went off to Europe, and the vice president, as acting president, undertook trips to the Niger Delta, made so many promises. Not one has been fulfilled. Not even the Ogoni cleanup, which the president promised on May 29th, 2015, has been undertaken. We have been seen as a bunch of fools, and we refuse. If we cannot negotiate an agreement and understanding about this bill, we will pull out of the ceasefire and we'll let the government go and talk to the Creeks. We can't fight the Nigerian Army, Air Force, or Navy. We can fight our own land. We can fight our own waters. If that is what we are going to push to, we say, whichever which way, game goes. This is a very insensitive and highly ludicrous bill that will clearly take over not just our waters, our traditional ancestral waters, but will go further to create land. Land will be taken 60 kilometers from the banks. Can you imagine that? I'm from an island, Opobo. If you start taking even 5 kilometers from the banks, you have taken all of Opobo, which is to say we don't own Opobo. It is madness, and we shall not allow that madness to stand.
Right, very vehement resistance there. So what do you say to the fact that it's been presented at this point by the federal government as some sort of fait accompli, that you have no choice, all Nigerians have no choice, it's a done deal in effect? That's my first question. My second question relates to the argument that's been presented in support of this bill, that it's about resource control, which is a very familiar term to somebody like yourself, that the water industry is underregulated and that a bill like this will stop host communities from being exploited and will generate revenue for the host communities. What do you say to that?
Since when did anybody care about what happens to the Niger Delta? I'm telling you that from 2015, May 29th, a president made a promise which has not been kept till date. So are they now going to be the ones empathizing with us? No, we know what's best for us. We have stated what is best for us. We say we don't want the water resources bill or act, or amendments. However, because the instruments of coercion, of security, are in the hands of Abuja, it believes it can throttle us and force anything down our throats. I don't think they follow, or they look at history. They cannot. They will not. It shall not stand. I'm saying this categorically, not as me. I'm speaking on behalf of the peoples of the Niger Delta. We are totally opposed to this bill in any form. We are opposed to it, and we hate the fact that we are seen as such easy pushovers. In fact, they use us. And take example. Whenever they want to grandstand about corruption, they focus on the Niger Delta. They say, what have you done with the 13% derivation? Therefore, everybody forgets two things. One, what have they done with the 87% of funds that come from the Niger Delta that are supposed to be used for the rest of Nigeria. One. Two, do we realize that through the local governments, the first charge draw of, to say, Kano, giving Kano 40 local governments, for example, whilst you give places like Bayelsa in the digits, do you realize that even before they start dividing any money, they've already given out majority of the money, especially to the north of Nigeria? And we have not quarreled. In the Niger Delta Development Commission, we have northeastern, northwestern, north central members of the board. Why? Are they Niger Deltans? Or are we Niger Deltans are being placed on the Northeastern Development Commission? Or is any southerner? We think this is all rubbish. It cannot go on anymore. You see, this coronavirus period has taught us that new paradigms must be embraced. If the government is willing to sit down with our leadership, I've met with the president, and he has not done what he said he would do. Clark has led all of the Niger Delta, about 90 of us, to meet with the president. The president hasn't done what he said he would do. The Niger Delta Avengers are there saying that we are misrepresenting them. How long can we take this? We cannot keep on being fifth-class citizens in a Nigeria that we all made and that we all pray for to be progressive, united, and peaceful. But there can be no progress, no unity, no peace until you have justice, equity, and fair play.
Okay. I've got two issues I want to talk about. So a lot of people have been likening this to Ruga, but they said there was a pushback and Ruga was, quelled for a while. A lot of people have come out to speak against it, Professor Wole Soyinka and the likes. The part that, like Tunu pointed out very strongly, like we're not even going to have a public hearing to this. Does that even scare you? There's no public hearing to this. They said it's a bill that was put up in the last assembly, and because of that, there's no need for a public hearing. And secondly, you talked a lot about the NDDC and the likes, but a lot of people claim that the NDDC was given to the Niger Delta people as a tool to repair the Niger Delta. But I'm sure you watch Arise TV and you saw how the drama played out between Joy Nunye and Godswill Akpabio, and how the NDDC was looted so much, cases of fraud here and there, forensic experts to check if forensic accounts or not, all the wahala with the NDDC. What do you see as regards that?
Let me break in here. Nobody is ignorant of the fact that Nigeria's corruption is endemic, that there's corruption at every layer of government, that every ministry, department, and agency in Nigeria is fraught with corruption, which is why the president, in his wisdom, said the IMC be created and they should carry out a forensic audit. Now, yes, Joy is my friend, Akpabio is my friend, but I wouldn't back them if they are doing things wrong. What I have been saying is leave the IMC alone to carry out that forensic audit. The moment they started, under Joy's leadership then, the moment they started, the National Assembly leadership, which is definitely, allegedly, involved with a lot of the corruption, a lot of the sleaze in the NDDC, started a war against them. Now, be that as it may, we see all of this as an old pattern playing out. Anytime any Nigerian leader wants to show that he's a tough anti-corruption guy. He goes to Niger Delta to brief us. Nobody has talked about the billions of dollars that were allegedly stolen, looted by the late Abba Kyari and the NNPC officials, having put himself on NNPC board. Nobody's talking about how the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs said she fed students, school children, with over 1 trillion naira. Nobody's talking about these sleaze in the over 200 billion naira sleaze in the Northeast Development Commission. No one is talking about how the CBN has colluded with different individuals to enhance round-tripping, make billionaires of people who are doing nothing than working out their patronage rights with the CBN governor. Nobody is talking about the FIRS. No, we all talk about the Niger Delta. First time it was Alamesia. Second time was Ibori. Now it's Akpabio. Let the INC do its job. At the end of this, it's ending in December. At the end of its tenure, let a forensic audit also be carried out on them on that period of the INC. Simple as that. Why do we make things complicated for ourselves just because we want to obfuscate issues and to do our best to stop things going on the way they should? Nobody should tell me that they are crying for the Niger Delta. No Nigerian government federal government has cried for the Niger Delta. In fact, a lot of people forget the fact that the NDDC is an interventionist body. The Niger Delta Ministry is doing whatever it does. That does not preclude all other federal ministries, departments, and agencies from carrying out actions and duties and responsibilities in the Niger Delta. But each time we get mass obfuscation, a heavy manipulation of media space. We don't have the voice. Yes, we know we are all fishermen in the creeks. We don't have the voice. But nobody is going to get this. I can tell you, if you are a betting man, please put your last penny on it. We are not accepting the Water Resources Amendment, even if it's passed as an act. We shall start civil action, civil disobedience within the ramifications of the law. That is those of us that are moderates who have been trying to bring sanity to bear for the past 5 years on Nigeria and the Niger Delta. I don't know what the agitated people in the creeks will decide to do. That is not my business anymore, because when government said to me, reach out to them, forge peace, I did. Now they are saying to me, the government that sent you to us is a liar. We are not even sure that you are not a liar. I am therefore seizing the opportunity to say, all my people, make not hear me, I not chop, I not follow anybody. Chop, I not go follow anybody.
Well, Tony, quickly.
What we are going to stand against these acts.
Tony, quickly. Yes, your point in that regard is clear. You recall that under the 8th Assembly, the bill succeeded at the House of Reps, it failed at the National Assembly. This time around, is it not possible to consider a strategy to lobby the National Assembly and make sure that the bill, even when it gets to the National Assembly, does not succeed. Considering the fact that the Middle Belt Forum is against it, Ohanese Indigbo is against it, Afenifere is against it, Voices of Reason in the Niger Delta and also in the Southwest, including Professor Wole Soyinka, are all against it. So should we really bother? Because it looks like this bill on its own is dead on arrival.
My brother, we really have to bother because remember our president was in Egypt when he told us he was going to throw our borders open. And even though they still kept the southern borders and western borders and eastern borders closed, the northern borders were thrown wide open. And we have been having an influx of both Nigerian and foreign Fulani and other militia armed trained men who are escaping from Syria, Yemen, Libya, Mali. They are now in Nigeria. In fact, if you don't know, let me say this. Let the NSA do what it wants. They are here in Lagos. The whole of Lekki is full of them. So all of you who are living big man life in Lekki, there are thousands of young men who are riding motorbikes and have access to arms, small arms, rapid arms, and we are in danger of losing our lives. In that vein, we shall, yes, try to lobby the National Assembly. We have even started that. But I'm saying that we have decided that, like my friend has said, it's a fait accompli. Okay, I said, that's Lai's position. My position, Barclay's position, Tompolo's position, Asari's position, Farah's position, Joshua's position is that it will never happen in our lifetime.
Well, on that note, Tony Uranta, we want to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today. Thank you.